What's up, Caffeinds, Caff friends, anybody watching the podcast today? It's Perk. I'm joined by our host, WillProduces. It is another episode of the Caffeinds cast. I know it says episode 14 up there, but it's actually episode 15. It's totally
serious?
fine. I see it in Will's eyes right now that he's scrambling to try to find a way to do it, to change it.
I don't think
by
it
the
is.
time that I finish this monologue. I see
15?
14. It's definitely episode 15. Last week was 14. One thing I'm sure of is that I can definitely count. And I know the numbers
Our
when they
last
go
episode
bigger.
is 13, and that's...
There was the lapse. What about the lost episode, Will?
We won't talk about that.
Tell us about the lost episode.
All right, guys,
anyway,
we gotta start over. Starting over. Sorry.
Anyway. Goodness. Will, it's been a crazy week for myself. I know you are having one as well.
Yeah.
So talk to me about Destiny. Take us through it.
Hello. Today's ingredient is Europa.
Snow?
I don't know. Ice.
I was gonna say
stasis.
snow.
I didn't think that one through.
Snow would have been. It's fine.
Need more. This is the end of my cold brew that you saw last week. So
this is bottoms up. This is a wet and wild, ice slippery podcast, if you will. It's gonna be unhinged. I don't know. Are you still selling that was your cold brew from last week?
No, it 100% is the end of the big ass jug that I had. I made
okay.
like a gallon.
All right. I thought it was actually the cold brew, like sitting on your desk, like from last week, and I was going to be scared for you. But yeah, dude.
Go ahead.
Good. No, good.
No, I just wanted to respond to Moose saying that my shirt doesn't say snow. No, this is actually the welcome to the second season of the podcast, Caffeinds Vice. Where
I don't have white pants on. It's not going to work.
But you know, it does say snow. As always, is Perk's backdrop. Mountains.
It do. It actually do. It do have some snow. This is Europa. Sure, maybe. It definitely is. But anyway, there was some cool stuff. Like actually, like I know we were always talking about in the podcast. We're kind of in the doldrums. It's the end of summer. It's the first week of fall. We're going into stuff where this would have been where we see our new Destiny expansion. Instead, due to COVID and the things going on in the world at large, we're pushed back a little bit to November. But we got some stuff going on this week, Will.
Yeah,
we had some things
I do
happen.
want to say that Sloan and Ashermere and Brother Vance got a stay of execution for another like a month or so. Because it would have been this week, maybe like technically like 5 weeks. But we got the huge drop this reset. The return of an old friend.
An old friend. I love Variks. We're gonna show it here. Honestly, it's been so tight that they brought that character back. And I know we say it, but I'm a big sucker for narratives. And it kind of seems like in the very, very slow kind of proceedings with Bungie, over the course of a couple of years, the past 3, with everything that's been going on, that we're kind of starting to see a story kind of come to a head here. And this has just been one that really excites me because, you're seeing the chamber in the Deepstone Crypt there, which is going to be obviously the new raid. We're seeing another Fallen type of expansion, but we're seeing it in a different dynamic. This time not with Siva or the vanilla game or the House of Wolves expansion, but we're seeing them kind of in a foreign place that seems to be that no one is necessarily native. I know every time that we've gone for a Destiny expansion, whether it be the Tangled Shore or into the moon where the Hive are, it seems to be every one of the alien races, one of them kind of has a foot in as sort of their base of operations. This one seems to be kind of, judging by the narrative and all the stuff that we've seen, kind of up in the air, kind of up for anybody. And we've seen some really cool stuff. We're going to go over this trailer again. But what do you make of all this? How do you feel about this? Now that we're actually seeing a little bit more, stasis aside, we've gone through stasis. Let's talk about the narrative. Let's talk about Destiny and the story, where it's going.
My hype juices are flowing. I got my fingers are tingling with energy. I'm ready to go to the snowy place, freeze my balls off, and shoot some stuff. Real fast, Taggy, thank you for the sub. You've been sub for 3 months, and this he says this place is okay. We love it here. So
that's what we like.
Thanks for being around. We appreciate you. As for what I think about Europa and where the story's going, I'm just excited to see all of these threads come together. The only thing that's missing to me is like, where's Mara? What's going on with her?
Yeah.
And we have her compatriot in Eris. Like, you know, those two planned her death in the Taken King and her journey through the Ascendant Realm. We have the Drifter, who I'm going to try to cosplay for this Halloween.
Are you really?
Because, dude, we need more Asian dudes in media. There's such slim pickings. But I think I can do
I vibe it.
Matthew
I'm excited
McConaughey
for that.
and just like, grow my beard up a little bit. And then we have, you know, our old friend gets used a lot in reference to two people in this in the expansion that we know so far, both the Exo Stranger and Variks. And then also we have to figure out what the hell has been going on with Variks. Last we heard from him, allegedly he was the person who just sort of indirectly killed Cade. So he fell to like the whispers of Fickrel and Uldren, who was in turn corrupted by the whispers of Riven. And then he was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out. I'm going to go restore the Fallen to what they were. Hit the button that opened all the cells in the Prison of Elders. And that's where we started at Forsaken. It was Petra Venge calling for help for Cade. We showed up to help them. And it was a setup to kill Cade or to wreak as much havoc as possible to get the Scorn Barons out.
So I am with you. I agree that Variks was certainly the catalyst, and he was certainly the trigger, essentially, because there was a lot of kind of wondering what the blame was. Variks hit the button that then massively pulled the trigger against Cade. But here's my big thing, and there's a brief tie-in to where I'm going with this. The Vanguard. They always make a talk about the fire team, right? Destiny's big on the fire team, the 3-man fire team. Cade's 2 compatriots were not at his side when everything went down. Now, I understand Cade made a lot of people angry, and a lot of those barons that he kind of put up in the Prison of Elders were looking to seek vengeance against him. But Ikora and Zavala were both very noticeably absent from all of the stuff that went on with him. There was no, like, they could have transmatted in just the same as Cade did. There was no difficulty of getting there. I think there is a bigger situation at hand. You can mark me down for this, and you can call me out if I'm wrong. Feel free to do this. I think there is a bigger, like, situation and conspiracy at hand with Cade's death. And I think it's going to tie into a lot more threads than we're privy to. That's just my own thought. That's just my own thought on it. You can yell at me if I'm wrong, chat, after the story comes out and I'm proven wrong. Let me know.
Our new co-social media manager, Coffee Hazard, Dan, says the Vanguard wasn't aware of the prison break. It was Petra who trusted Cade, who trusted us to handle it. Look, at the end of the day, like, who pulled the trigger? Who pulled the trigger?
I mean, Uldren.
Exactly.
But here's the problem. This is the problem. We can't even get vengeance on Uldren because Uldren's basically dead and he's reborn as a guardian.
We already did get vengeance. If you like, who do you think? Like, here's the big question. And Moose or Dan, if we could set up a poll in Streamlabs real fast, who do you think actually killed Uldren? Is it Petra or was it our characters? Like, was it our guardian?
I'm thinking it was one of those where we both pulled our guardian and Petra kind of simultaneously. Although Petra had that sidearm, which we know for certain is not a one-shot kill. So I'm gonna go with the guardian.
Right, but come on, man, he just got vomited by a meatball.
Nah, I don't know. I'm just saying his allies were noticeably absent, and it's something that I've been aware of. I've been watching Zavala. Okay, I've been watching. I see what's going on. Okay,
there have been rumors that Zavala is going to be the one corrupted in the tower, and not Shax from the Ahamkara bones that are in that are hanging up over Shax. So
I think so. I think so too. I mean, there's that little scene that was leaked or mocked up or something, but I mean, that of us kind of landing in the tower in the same fashion that we landed on the Leviathan ship for the first raid. So who knows? Who knows? I just want to go out there on record before there's any inkling of it, before I even have an ability to make an accurate, guess on this. I'm going to say that there is a larger conspiracy to Cade's death, and it's going to tie in to more of the plot coming.
Well, following Cade's death in the storyline, which I know to people uninitiated to Destiny, this sounds like a spoiler, but this is 2 expansions ago.
A little bit.
This is, the catalyst of Forsaken. We got to do a quest for to acquire Cade's famous Ace of Spades, and that quest is going away with the new expansion that's getting vaulted. But we did hear his last words to specific people who were going to kill them, like sort of Ron Swanson-esque, like he had his will written out, but it was put into a bunch of cachets, and as to whoever killed me, this is what I was going to say to you. And he didn't predict Uldren. That's for sure.
He didn't. I just have to say, I don't mean to derail you. That is one of the best written narratives I think in Destiny. Is kind of like Cade pre-writing his eulogy based on whoever kills him, which I thought was fascinating and awesome. Continue.
But he does bring up something that I want to segue into, which is the minds behind the Deep Stone Crypt. Now, keyword, minds. People think, Braytech, Clovis Bray for the genesis of the Exos. And we know that Deep Stone Crypt is a place that the Exos were created. It is a place that they dream of. Let's go through our step-by-step analysis of the Europa trailer, and let's just see how this comes back to comes back into play. I'm gonna start her up.
Let's do it.
We're gonna do. Hold on. Okay.
Also, shouts to Barry Freezepop with the tier 3 sub. Holy shit.
Dude. Alex putting in work. Shout out to my wife for finally following the stream. I love you.
Glitter cat energy.
All right. Playback speed 0.5. All right. We start off. What could be. I don't know what this is over here on the right side. Could be Vex architecture. Could be just a frozen building.
Looks like some Vex architecture because it's kind of has a curve to it, and the Vex stuff generally has that equilateral triangle vibe to it.
Here's where we stop. First things first. We see what?
Dude, what does this even look like?
What are we looking at?
This doesn't look like any architecture style that we've seen from any alien race. Like, this is totally different. This is totally new.
Yeah. I think we're going to see something similar to the Dreaming City, where we get introduced to a new type of architecture. This, to me, you see a little bit of the darkness, architecture, the pyramid internal, yellow booting up things in here. But
seemed like it.
In the center, you see this, what looks to be a chest or maybe a coffin.
Something.
With a guardian on top. And so in the lore, I did a bunch of lore studying for this trailer breakdown. In the lore, there is a tower in the dreams of Exos. Every Exo sees it. And in these dreams, they either walk through a field of flowers, sort of gladiator style, walking through the field of wheat, or they kill their way through hordes of enemies to make it through to this tower. I think that this is the tower that they dream of. I think this has maybe it's literally a stone crypt. If that is a coffin, I think we'll see something interesting here. If I had to shoot into the dark, I think I would say A la Walt Disney's Frozen head, Clovis Bray's body is in that crypt.
Okay. That's an interesting one. Clovis Bray, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know that the Deep Stone Crypt is a Clovis Bray facility.
Yes.
We've seen that. We're going to see that a little bit later in the trailer. So that's a good one. I'm very curious to see where our guesstimates come around to when the game actually launches and we get this exposition.
Oh, we should make that content, like predictions.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll kind of throw those together.
Right.
We'll reach out to the rest of the Caffeinds to do it as well. But yeah, I'm with you. There's definitely a Guardian on the top of there. I don't know what that is, where that is, what's going on. They never really mentioned about the Deep Stone Crypt where they bury any of the exos either. Wonder if they go back there or anything like that. But either way, curious to see where this architecture kind of evolves, where it goes, and all that stuff. Let's keep taking a look. It's a big like ship thing in the back there too.
Here,
pyramid ship.
We'll just pause it right here. All right. So obviously, pyramid ship architecture. All of these like little, like they're not technically pyramids that are forming this larger. It's basically a D8 that's oblong. That's important. But look in the background.
Yeah.
What do we see? It's specifically a pyramidion. So
clear as day, and you see an arc waterfall back there in the lower part too.
Yeah. So the pyramidion, the way it works is in multiple locations. There are different entrances to a pyramidion, but the interiors, the insides. I pulled this from a Bife video, so if I'm using the same words, go check that guy out because Bife is legendary, Lord Daddy. The interiors of all pyramidions are the same, exactly the same. So we are going to see a continuation of what we saw on Io, and I think there was one on if I'm not mistaken, a Mars Crucible map back in D1.
Okay. Yep. I believe you're right.
So, what do we think of darkness building here?
Also, I'm just kind of noticing this too. Like the shrapnel, like the shards that are forming are the same type of geometry of the actual final shape as well, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. A nice little effect there. I don't really know. I don't know if these are emissaries. I don't know if these are like waypoints for the darkness to navigate through, like in the way that their transmatting works and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to make of them because honestly, they've been kind of hanging out on the planets, the big ships as well as the little ones. We've been kind of like doing the gambit banking for some unknown reason. With those ships on Io and Titan, so gonna be curious to see. But let's keep rolling.
Yeah, so I just want to look at like just quickly. Shout out to this
logo.
So one, these sort of like logo reveals always reminded me of Video Copilot tutorials. But the red underneath the ice to me screams. It looks so close to Siva like red to me. And given that we are entering like a Clovis Bray facility, it's not out of the realm of possibility to have some sort of proto-Siva or a Siva that is developed into something completely different that maybe is corrupted by the darkness. It's something that I've been thinking about ever since I realized that, the Exodus ship that the Awoken went out into the distributary with would have also been carrying Siva. What is the interaction with Siva and the darkness? I think we might begin to see some story threads, or I'm hoping.
We might. I would like to.
Here we see sparrows, brand new sparrow over the ice.
Okay, we got a little bit of a new picture at kind of I don't know if this is a new picture, but this seems like this is the one that we were talking about a few podcasts ago where you can go forward a frame. But that was like that little city where we're like, hey, like from the inside, we're like, this looks like a new, fresh kind of thing. Like this looks like some weird, almost looks like the same type of construction that we saw in the buried city on Mars in
exactly,
Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Same type of circular kind of like structures. It stands out to me because it looks to me a lot like the buildings that you see on in Star Wars, and I've always kind of had that association with like
Jabba the Hutt's palace.
Yeah, those like cylindrical style kind of stacked buildings. So we're seeing the Fallen go through here. We're seeing some kind of crane back there, which explains the kind of the depth and lowering things into. We see a catch there on the surface, and we see a lot of stuff buried in ice. So whatever is going to be going on Europa is going to have like a dual threat. It's going to be some old stuff with some new enemy presence, which honestly I think is one of the things that Bungie does the best in terms of thematics. So I'm really, really excited to see what I like. Now, I was a little bit hesitant. I was a little bit kind of like, I don't know what the thing's going to be. It was very much stasis focused, but this kind of stuff, this like mystery horror almost elements that they've been going for, especially with this trailer, is always some of my favorite themes in Destiny for sure.
You'd imagine like the Thing, but Destiny.
Yeah,
we got to go around taking blood samples to see who has the darkness.
Yeah, dude. Like
Anyway.
that's kind of the cool stuff. I like a lot of those elements. So here, look at this. This is crazy. Go ahead.
Yes, same architecture that we saw with that first tower. Now we have Vex inside and now associated with this architecture. And if you look in the backgrounds, we'll see it more in depth. It's a new enemy type for the Vex, something we didn't expect at all. Like, we saw all these promos with all these new Fallen enemy types. We're like, okay, cool. Fallen expansion. Oh shit, what the fuck is this? You're about to see it, but I do want to point out in here 2 more of the crypts that we saw. This to me screams the inside of the pyramids, and maybe the Soul Divisive, which are the Vex faction from Garden of Salvation that worship the darkness. And you just pay attention to these guys that look like, oh, you know what?
Look at this. This scene fucking kills me, man. It's so cool looking. But go ahead, go back.
No, this is fine. We'll come back to the Vex with feet. So, dude, what even are we looking at?
So we're looking, it seems like some sort of rhombus type shape thing connected to it, a tetrahedron of sorts. And there looks to be a person standing there. There's a great chasm, and then there's an icy, like, it looks like there's a structure across the bridge, but there's a lot of ice on it, which leads me to think that it's been there for a while. So there's going to be some insane, like, I'm imagining that we're going to have to cross this chasm, whether it be in the raid or just traversing it in the patrol areas and figuring out how to cross the bridge, which reminds me a lot of the Dreadnought when we had that big chasm in the back. When you go into the middle part and you turn right in the Dreadnought, and you see that there's 2 things. You can go left and go kind of further into the crashed Cabal ship, or you can go right. You can explore the catacombs a bit. But before you go into the catacombs, you had that big chasm across the right side where there was those the worms, I think it was, and there was those switches that you basically had to activate to create the bridge temporarily to be able to see them. Those invisible platforms you had to go on. And there was a couple of I think there was a one of the calcified fragments was actually over there. I know one of the Grimoire cards was for sure.
So I want you to like focus on the shape of and the color of this orange light and tell me, what does it look like to you?
It looks like a Rasputin thing of sorts.
Absolutely. Do you remember in Rise of Iron, there was an artifact, I think, that was a Siva fragment?
Yes, I do.
Very similar shape. This is Rasputin orange. It looks like a lot of the Mars architecture that we got from the Mine Lab. But it also kind of, if you look at this platform here at the bottom, it's that same sort of smooth stone texture. So we're seeing a lot of crossover between a lot of story threads here, and it's only going to be more and more exciting. The shape of the structure over here, like you said, looks like it's been here for a while. It's frosted over, but it is sort of that pyramid diamond shape. It looks like almost like a stalactite in this chasm. So we're gonna have to see what that is, because there's so many story threads.
Moose is saying in chat, it looks like an experiment chamber with an observation deck, which is very plausible as well. What if this is kind of the platform where they activate each exo and kind of transfer the consciousness?
I think
that's actually something that.
It's very interesting. And like, before we move on, I think, like, what if there is sort of like a toe dipping into the exofication process? Like, what if we get to see that in like a vision way? Like,
I would
into, like, that dream.
love that. That was one of the things that I mentioned when you were saying that earlier when we were talking about the exos dreams. They go into the crypt themselves. That's an amazing opportunity, and this is something that I've been asking Destiny to do for a long time, which is let us control a different character for to give us some exposition in a story quest. Let me control what it's like to be Felwinter for a mission. I don't have to be playing my Guardian for every bit of the story. You can give me a throwback story and let me control another character. Let me play as Zavala. Let me play as these characters of legend briefly, and let me just be. And you can just code them to be Guardians with a specific set of skills.
There's precedent
a lot of
for
fun.
it. They're in the lore, you have people like Maya Sundaresh who use their through their consciousness into exoframes simulated themselves, and they went Inception style through this Vex mind. And we'll see if that I want to see Maya Sundaresh's story sort of get touched on in this expansion. We got a little bit more with one of the guns from Shadowkeep, from Season of the Dawn, I think. From
which
the Sundial
weapon
season.
Specifically?
I'm
trying to think of off the top of my head. I didn't read every. I know I'm into the lore a lot, but I didn't read every.
I think it was Optative.
Okay, all right.
It was or maybe it was something. Basically, we got to touch on Praedyth.
Okay.
Because Praedyth, for some reason, when stuck in the Vault of Glass and stuck in his time loops, he can interact with all of these copies of Maya Sundaresh's team that got stuck in this Vex Mind, simulated all the way down. And so he's waiting for this perfect time. He has this opportunity to send one object through time to us, and it's the gun. And it says I don't know if it says soon or if I'm mixing that up with Perfect Paradox or something like that. But that is something we got just a taste of in Shadowkeep. We are now going to someplace that can bring more light on that story. It was honestly, I have such an attachment to this because when I first started reading Destiny lore, this is the cards that I started with going through, was the weird Vex shit that was going on at the Ishtar Academy, or the Ishtar Collective, the Ishtar Academy, and it was looked down. It was incredibly frowned upon, or almost illegal or not allowed for Ishtar Collective and Clovis Bray to share any sort of research. But the fact that Elsie Bray and Maya Sundaresh did is kind of important for us to keep in mind here.
Absolutely. I mean, the one you covered a lot of ground there. So that one, you started with a great place with the Grimoire, because the Vault of Glass has always been the best, and I imagine it's always going to be its centerfold. I have always had the thing I called this years ago, even when we thought Destiny was just going to be a 10-year project. I was like, how good would it be if they hold the Vault of Glass and we end Destiny how it began, with the Vault of Glass and being sent through time to try and kill Atheon again in a different version, because Atheon is time's conflux. So all points in time essentially run through him. So to try to end cap that again, or even involve him in the story, I thought would be just a great way to end things. But that's obviously not happening. We're going to get the Vault of Glass again. Who we'll find in the end of the Vault of Glass is still up for debate. We might see a different boss in the end of there. But yeah, I mean, Maya Sundaresh, all of these characters of lore, of Grimoire, it's going to be one. They've worked it up to such a way where if they don't give some sort of narrative and payoff in this expansion, in this season, or the surrounding seasons, it's going to be a big letdown, because I feel like this is the close that we've actually glimpsed to getting more of a fleshed out story from that. So I certainly hope that's going to be the case. Excuse me.
All right. Real quick before we jump back in.
Needs to end it.
Yeah. We'll cut and we're gonna edit that out. Just kidding. We're live, Perk.
Can't help it.
So I just want to quickly shout out Barry Freezepop for the tier 3 sub. She really wanted that emote and she got it. So let's go back into it. The Fallen architecture here, definitely on a catch. You're looking at a hunter.
Fallen very much have that multiple in circular carvings, a lot like we see in the Mos Eisley Cantina in Star Wars and stuff like that. Very indicative of that reference point.
Here we see the lad.
Fallen here. Yeah, wearing a mask. Very 2020 safe. I like it.
Dude, it's chainmail.
I mean,
He's got a mask underneath them. They've got rebreathers, but
it's just the external part. It's the external part.
Dan says we're looking at a war criminal. Dude's looking way better than he was in D1.
Looking pretty crisp.
He's got those golden arms. I'm not sure if they were like gilded. You got like a C-3PO upgrade between D1 and D2, like from prequel trilogy to original trilogy. The threads here, he still has the House of Judgment symbol, which tells me that maybe he's not ready to give up on that. We know that he's currently rolling with the House Darkness.
He is.
But he also is, he's kind of like a fallen supremacist. I don't know if he was necessarily like anti-human, but he definitely was. His entire goal was the restoration of the Elixni as a people. And I don't know if he thinks that we don't know if Variks thinks that the restoration of the Elixni involves them being restored to the primary custodian race of the traveler and like having access to the light, or if it just means like surviving, getting away from the machine gods that they created after the traveler left, and being
I mean, time is certainly going to tell on that one, so that's going to be interesting to see. But I mean, I just love having Variks back. For good or bad, I think he's a really interesting and fun character. And his voice dialogue is Psylocke the Defiled, like so memorable.
Right. And this is why people like him, Dan. Like, even though he destroyed a fan favorite character, his voice is memorable. All right, so we see Ketch coming in. Some leather on a model for a following. Can't tell from this angle what exactly like the model looks like. Yeah. Here's an important thing. We see
that scope. We were talking about this a lot. There's the scope. Look at that. Revealing enemies hidden in, what is that, Will? That looks like snow. That looks like some elements there.
Yes. They spoke about it in, I think, in the TWAB. We'll see.
It was earlier this week. They put a blog post about it.
So we're getting a new, whether we liked it or not. Fuck, I messed up the goddamn joke. Whatever. It's above me in this 2-box. Bungie is implementing a new weather system, and whether we liked it or not, it's gonna happen. It's dynamic weather, snow, snowstorms, fog, all this stuff on Europa. Do you know if that's gonna extend to other destinations?
I don't know. I'm wondering if this is kind of part of their initiative to try to move into a new game engine. But Will, I have a question for you. Being is that, like, this is my thought. So Destiny's always been about its secrets, and it's a lot of other stuff like that. So we're looking through the scope on that gun, right? And it's revealing the other enemies that are there and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Assumingly that those types of weapons are going to be part of a collection that we kind of saw, we talked about, kind of like that emergency rescue kind of set is what this looks like. So I'm thinking we're going to have to scope in and find maybe some little other secrets, little other things kind of scattered about, and that's brings in the potential for a lot more things. I have a feeling we're going to be using these scopes to kind of explore the caverns, maybe even find, I don't know, another loot cave of sorts. I'm just saying.
That'd be interesting. So
I'm just saying it's possible to find another loot cave. Did I ever
some
tell you about
guns.
the loot cave?
Oh god damn it! Just put it in chat. Just put the command in chat. Exclamation ! Loot cave for the memes. So Dan was saying that some scopes do have this sort of targeting ability. That's true. I think, if we are going to be able to specifically, like, the tech is there. And we saw in the Black Armory, looking through specific gun scopes enabled us to see specific symbols in the Niobe labs. I think that fucking Dan is the only person I know that actually has done it. So shout out to Dan.
Dan's the blacksmith, our resident blacksmith. Yep. He's the only one with the title, I believe.
Yep. Worth noting, the two enemies on the right, a harpy, a goblin, Vex. Two enemies on the left. Mm-hmm. What are they?
I don't know, dude. They look kind of weird. They look kind of like zombies, almost. Kind of just hanging out. They look like they have a very thin waist, a larger upper body, whether that's a tarp or not. I'm assuming that this scope is kind of showing us like mass. So I don't know,
It's
man.
definitely silhouetting them.
It's
So to
definitely
me,
something.
I don't know what this furthest left thing is. But the one that's closer to the middle, it kind of looks like a drag, but it could be another new enemy type. We're gonna see this new Vex enemy type that they're going to show us. But we definitely should keep an eye on what the fuck this even is. If this is a dreg, like if this is like two of the new fallen enemy models, this means that the weather system can reduce the visibility of enemies so that like fallen and Vex wouldn't be fighting each other because they just can't see each other.
Yeah.
Kind of a big thing.
Kind of an interesting thing, yeah. And will we be able to sneak around and stuff too?
All right, so this shot.
Yeah. What's going on in the background there?
Yeah.
Those don't really look like the shanks or anything like that.
No, like this could be Golden Age tech. This could be Fallen. I think if anything, my money's on Fallen. You know what it looks like is the robot from Flubber.
Kind of. I was gonna say it looks like the ones that are you can see them sometimes working in when we did the flashback mission to the Cosmodrome. I think there was like a bot that was kind of hanging around there, repairing stuff or surveying or something like that. That's what it looks like.
If anything, it is the new flying version of our Roomba bots that we are losing. Save the Roombas. All right, so
bless the Roombas.
We got a mainframe.
This is a big one.
I like that even in the post-apocalypse, we are worried about people's safety with this in the biz we call this a yellow jacket. Keeping wires on the ground and people can walk over it.
And further than that, we've got two really nice smoke detectors on the ceiling there. Look at those.
Yep.
Those are beautiful.
Those things definitely go off when you cook in here, for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get in on the details though. Okay. We have this arm that has a wheel. This thing is mobile, can go around the room, or it originally could. It's picking up some sort of probably data, like hard drives or something. Center, there's this big server looking thing. Down here in the bottom right, we have what looks to be a human in like a wetsuit. This does not look like a Fallen. This does not look like anything we've seen. If anything, it looks like the guy from Crisis or a Fremen from Dune.
Yeah. Kind of.
Like it looks like one of those still suits. And of course, creeping around here in the back, we've got some of the sniper shanks and like a vandal on either side here.
Yeah, looks like it.
This is very reminiscent to me of the area that we're losing on Titan, where Savathun's song happens.
Yes. The arcology.
Yes, this looks like arcology plus some Mars tech. This sort of wavy pattern we'll see a lot coming forward. It has, I think, a lot to do with Deepstone Crypt. So
sure.
Maybe this is some like mind lab type shit.
Yeah.
Here we just see the scale, Lion King-esque sort of like shot.
Very much.
Now this is interesting.
This reminds me of that strike that I absolutely hate, the one with the one down in Dreaming City, where you jump down to the place. But this one definitely looks like it's in Europa. This is where we saw the Bungie logo earlier with kind of like those red colored rocks and stuff like that shimmering through. So that this mineral might have something to do with it. I don't know if this is like darkness like rocks or it looks like it's been cut, because you see those edges are pretty smooth. You've also got obviously the pyramid ship, where actually, honestly, this is one of the first shots that we're seeing a better look at the kind of top or the bottom really of those pyramid ships, and it's got the same bottom piece as that room that we were looking at earlier with the red kind of tetrahedron type of thing with the light coming out of it. So it could be Rasputin tech, could be just darkness tech, whatever they are, whatever this is, and I hope we really get a better kind of naming convention for them, because it seems a little bit ambiguous, and it seems that there's a lot of tech and that they actually have a more of a clear identity than we've really seen before. So
you know what this gold trim looks like to me is it kind of gives me Callus vibes.
So yes, in color temperature, yes. Callus is way too direct.
Oh yeah, no, he's like Trump Tower, but this is like a subtle callback almost to it. Like his it's the same like gold, like the same rounded edges.
Situation all over again.
All right, here's a close up of House Darkness Fallen. You can see the pattern painted on its helmet. What lies under the ice
lies beneath.
All right, this shifting, more shifting, tessellating even. This
look at this guy.
Looks like prophecy to me. The way this fog. I think maybe they got to play around with that weather a little bit in prophecy, maybe. Because
weather and all that stuff is interesting. This though looks like the if you look at just the kind of drop the pyramid behind it, this looks like that first shot that we were talking about.
Yep. And also I want to call attention to these like plates under here. So we have these floating pillars. These plates are like half Vex, half Hive looking to me. Like
they're magnets.
How do they work?
Magnets, man. Just magnets.
Cool.
Answers all the questions.
Inside, definitely a human-made thing. We're seeing a fire team. Yep. Let's stop and look at the weapons. This gun that the Warlock's using is like a midway point between Zalo Supercell and Kostov, and I'm fucking about it, dude. Like
definitely, we better look at the helmets here too, and the backpacks.
Yep. Also, the Warlock has fucking like shoulder pads from like a football team.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm about it.
Oh, look at the babushka though. Look at the babushka on the Warlock. Look at that thing. That's like cloth back there.
Dude,
you just tie the handkerchief.
This Warlock's gonna fucking carry a touchdown into the end zone and then cook some goddamn pierogies. Like
that is grandma energy, and I love it.
All right,
all about that. Let's keep it going.
Anything else we should know? I think this is probably a machine gun, an HMG.
I think
mag.
I think we saw that one in the that looks like a reddish colored one.
All right, here's a big thing.
So here is Spray Exoscience.
This gives me vibes from Halo, like Halo Reach. You know, like the firefight map where you're on the outside of like I think an Oni base. This gives me the same same sort of vibes. You got enemy encampments on human tech. This infinity sign is the Deepstone Crypt's logo. So this could be our entrance to the raid. Who knows?
I could think so. I could think of that. Like, this could kind of be the drop point where you just kind of have like a boss out there. It looks like one of the mini versions of the boss that we fight in the raid. It's escaping my brain right now.
Nope,
not Wrath of the Machine. The
Scourge of the Past.
Scourge. He looks like a small boy version of the Scourge boss,
mini Metal
which we've seen a bunch. Which I like it. Looks really cool. Looks very bright and colorful. Like it was this looked like the place to work when it was up and running and it was up and coming. We see on the bottom right there, that little encampment, that little setup, that little pod and kind of needle type thing is very much a fallen transponder or something. I don't know if it's for extracting ether or what it is.
I think it's a communications tower just from ghost scans.
Yeah.
And you can see that they've broken into like the white edge of this.
They were.
What they're doing this for.
They've been there. They're getting into it. They're figuring out stuff. So we're definitely going to see the Fallen's interference in this facility. And then look at this completely different colorway and theme for this room. This looks like an assembly facility, and there we're fighting in it.
Hold the fucking phone, dude. Look at what's in front of me. Look at what's on my screen. I didn't notice that. This is a frame. This is a frame, dude.
Yeah, that looks like a frame. He's got the head handle and everything. So we got a little ship in the back there. We got a bunch of Vex kind of standing there back in the distance. Like this is cool.
There's another frame to the right. He says. All right, we're gonna stop it here. Yes, there's another frame right past this gun.
So this could be a little bit more of a closer quarters. We were fighting with the frames when we got into Shadowkeep. That first mission, the start of that mission, which was the map, the first light map, the PvP map, the moon beta map from D1. There were some frames there fighting. So this is yet another cool use for them. And they were also fighting when we did the homecoming mission as well.
So important story threads to bring up here. let's look at look at this. Is this one of Shax's frames? Because this is definitely not a Vanguard frame.
Yeah, or is this just something from the facility
It could be
that we kind of the ghost interfaces with, and they realize that we're from the tower and that we're there to help. Kind of
so.
thing. There's options there.
I do want to bring up something hella important. Is if you haven't finished the evacuation, plug your ears for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But Anna got the remains of Rasputin, threw it in a frame, and carried it back to the tower after evacuation. Like that's the
something that really should have been a cinematic, because that seems like a milestone event for the Destiny universe. Anna Bray taking his guts and being like, we kind of need you at some point. I'm going to throw you in this frame. Let's get you back over there.
Right. And so is this a Rasputin controlled frame? Which would make sense if it's like a Clovis Bray facility, like there's some fragments of his mind stuck in other places outside of Mars, or he can exert control over other frames. Are we seeing Redrix? We're seeing reds here, and I can't quite make out this area. But if this is one of Shax's frames that he uses to keep the Crucible maps safe for Guardians to kill each other in, is this Redrix? And he's using what looks to be just like a standard auto rifle that we see like the models for those frames use all the time. And Redrix operated with a pair. There was another frame that it was paired with, and I think they were like a couple like that were always working together, and that sort of worked with each other in some way. I need to brush up on this because I did not see this at all in my initial watch through. But yeah, that's huge. Like we never really got intimate with these frames here in the story. So as these threads come out, and we're going to have to follow it through.
I like it. Let's keep going through it. I want to see more. Love the coloring in here.
Uncover the truth. All right, let's freeze frame.
Look at this facility.
So
this is dope.
We see on the right this like sort of hover car transportation. Kind of looks like one of those like airport trams. But we've seen this in previous trailers. We're seeing some battle scarring over here on the wall. This gun that this guy is using looks like a sniper to me.
Yep. Sniper or scout for sure.
These arms look very much like Halo 4, Halo 5, like Spartan armor fitting arms.
It's such a different looking landscape for Destiny. I'm really just excited to see just something different in terms of the structures, because we've had the same stuff over and over and over again. So it's nice to see some more.
Like, okay, here's the big fucking reveal here.
That's the thing that is on the left of your screen. You're seeing what looks like an exo frame, like a base exo frame. On the right of your screen, that looks like a Fallen.
A Vex Goblin.
Is it a Vex Goblin?
Yes, that is. So
I'm sure about that.
So this is the up here is the crest of the goblin. There's its hand.
Okay.
Vex leg as a la Hunter.
I thought of Fallen.
I mean,
yeah. Okay, now I'm just looking at the fingers. You're right. I see Dan in the comments.
Look at the thingies. But okay, let's talk about the exo on the left. This exo looks like 801 and the Exo Stranger. The exos that we get as player models, they're a little bit less smooth, a little bit less like white face plated. So, hit my microphone. Like this looks like the prototype exo, and
looks like a base model.
This is what, and also we need to look in the back here. This area has a Vex barrier.
It does
right here.
Have a Vex barrier. Yes, it does.
So
that is what that is.
How did we get here, guys? The mines behind the Deepstone Crypt. The Vex mines behind the Deepstone Crypt. Gotcha, Cade.
So, my thought is, I've seen a lot of these hot takes on Twitter. So I'm gonna throw my own in the hat. I don't necessarily think that the Vex are the ones that have created the Exos. I think, if anything, we're going to Europa. A lot of stuff, a lot of commotion is happening on Europa. I think, if anything, the Vex are just very interested in what it's like to be a human consciousness converted into a robot. Because at some point, we know that the Vex weren't robots. Like, the robots for the Vex are kind of their suits. They are the radiolaria, like, fluid stuff inside that kind of controls the suit. The suit is their armor, so to speak, and their weapon.
So if you
go, I think this is them kind of my hot take finishes. I think this is them just going, well, we want to know what they're about, and if they can get access to a human conscious, if that is an exo of import, then it might be someone whose consciousness that they'd like to get access to. And maybe the final showdown for that raid might be a Vex boss. This also might be, I'm calling it right now, this might be the first raid that has multiple enemy themes to it. We might fight our way through and like there's Fallen in one room, and we get through only to find out like that there's like Vex in another room, and they're doing a different thing. So imagine a raid that's less like a concrete, like this is the raid and like this is a fortress to defend, or a vault to break through. And it's more of a, hey, like there's just a
type thing.
Yeah, there's just like a crazy bunch of stuff going on. Like that, I think would be kind of interesting. It would be a departure for Bungie. 2, it would go along with the theme that they're showing, which is that this planet is inhabited with a lot of mix of different enemies, different stuff like that.
So Moose,
Sandra being just one.
Moose said Eater of Worlds had Cabal and Vex.
Eater of Worlds had, it had a little bit of Cabal at the beginning, but generally you think of that as like, we're kind of going down there to clear the trash. So yes, you're right. You are correct, Moose. Right. I'm just thinking of it being, I guess I mean a little bit more of a bigger, almost like a heist. We're kind of like trying to stop a heist or something like that going on. Like there definitely seems to be a race trying to get access to that Vex or that Exo kind of consciousness down there. But let's move on.
That's brilliant. I like my theory. So, let me just get on my face.
This is brilliant.
We know
I like this.
From the Darkness lore book, the origins of the Vex were as like patterns from the game of life, if you guys are familiar with that fell from the garden over time into reality. Which is what the Vex are. They're like simulating a pattern over and over and over again. They have to stick to it. That's why they erase anything that doesn't fit the pattern. As we know, we found Vex on Venus after the Traveler went there and terraformed it. We found Vex stuff that was ancient because they are time travelers. All of a Vex mind was found prior to the collapse. Now we don't know how much time happened between Maya Sundaresh going into the Vex mind and the collapse happening, but we know it happened before the collapse. So the access to Vex technology is there, and we know that there was an arms race between Bray and the Ishtar Collective, and we know that Elsie Bray was trying to hide a weapon, which was World Line Zero, that used like time travel and like dimensional travel. So I think that if anything, this VAT here shows that the Bray Corporation used Vex technology to simulate someone's personality, their mind, what makes them an individual, and put that into an exo. So the person who becomes an exo actually straight up dies, but the simulation of who they are remains. It's a classic philosophical problem that you see in science fiction of like in Star Trek, when you get beamed up, your matter is converted to energy, and then reconverted into matter on whatever place you get beamed up to. But what if it was the case that, in fact, that they scan your body, they completely reconstruct your atoms somewhere else, and they just fucking like vaporize the body that entered the teleportation device in the first place? Are you still you? Like these are the questions that Bungie loves to play with, these philosophical questions. And I think that this is gonna this is my fucking like Babe Ruth calling my shot for the second time this episode. This is a huge philosophical problem that Bungie I think is playing with here. It's the use of Vex simulation to simulate a person into an exo.
To basically plant them and to basically have influence over the Guardian?
No, because Guardians don't exist yet. Exos happened before. Exos happened to...
Right.
We don't really know the purpose of an exo. Like, we think that they were sort of like black ops, like people...
We do a little bit. We do a little bit know the purpose of exo. It was basically to solve the limitations of the human problem. Of not being able to work on things that have radiation, not being able to go into the depths of space, not being able to withstand extreme temperatures with whether hot or cold. It was basically to, and I think originally in the EXO program, you would have partial control over it before you fully converged with the EXO. But I think there was problems with the remote connection, and that's why they went with the whole convergence program of doing it. But it was kind of like an Oculus type thing where you are animating the robot, and it wasn't initially designed to be a thing for humans to kind of take control over and become initially. But I love what you're saying, and I'm just jazzed about this whole scene as a whole. So I'm down for whatever comes of it.
I think that important to sort of note this symbol here on the right, the dot above the circle with a line through it. This is a symbol that people are seeing all over because this is on Anna's armor. It's on Elsie Bray's forehead as an exo.
It's on Variks' forehead too.
It's true. I don't know why it's there, but it's a little different. So we move forward. Let me go back to that top-down shot.
You could let it play. There's a lot of just kind of pass-throughs here. The architecture just looks stunning. I love the chasms. Love navigating through that. Look at that. We've got some dregs falling. They're intercutting a lot. One of the things that I wanted to call out about this shot is look into the back left and into the back right. There's obviously a Vex thing kind of in the middle, but in the back left and the back right, that doesn't look like normal ice formations. That's very blocky. And that's very indicative that the Vex have started messing with it. However, the Vex need to work with things that are actually very much like, I guess, an actual material. Whereas, like, can they even do anything with ice if it melts? Like, how does that work for them? Be curious to see. Well, we see a very big floating structure here. Looks like, honestly, a Vex portal that has defenses around what's holding us back from going into the portal. And then if you look into the back, it's one of those pyramid ships.
Right. I think if you look at the center here, you have that Vex conflux. But the conflux itself is on one of these pyramid platforms, and everything around it's Vex. So the connections, synergy.
Yeah.
All right, we got
seen some more of the guns. There's our wide shot. There's this guy in the background with a big old pyramid back there.
Huge pyramid.
Dropping in some
pyramid energy. But watch what this guy does with his forehead.
Yeah, he definitely shoots some
Ogre Blast.
Stasis stuff out of it, yeah, for sure.
Stasis Ogre Blast out of this guy's face.
He's got lots of breathing apparatus and stuff. Like, it's
the blind character model that we were talking about earlier as well. We see a rocket fire.
Do we see a rocket or do we see a micro missile?
It's a rocket.
Hashtag bring back Mountains Up.
It's still here.
But it looks dope. Got that big pyramid. Very cool landscape in the back. Whatever.
This gives me Prison of Elders vibes. Obviously, the construction is the same, but it's just this specific layout looks like something in PoE. Hold on. Do you remember what was the activity in Rise of Iron where you would go to this one specific place?
The Forge.
Is that what it really was? Forge of what? Yeah. Is where you would go in
like a Wonder Forge, or no, it was called
Archon's Forge.
Archon's Forge.
Yeah.
Dan coming in clutch. It was the Forge. The Forge was like the original like queuable public event so to speak, like that you would put in a thing and press the button, start the thing for.
Wonder if we'll see the return of something similar.
That'd be dope.
All right, Dark Empire. This ain't
Take
Star
down the
Wars.
Yeah,
what is this?
Came up out of nowhere. I'm assuming it's something to do with Aramis and the Fallen faction. I think that's probably what the Dark Empire is.
So here we see. Note we are in a Vex area. This guy uses a Titan Slam on us. So who do you think gets these darkness powers first? Do we see them and we're like, I see that. I want that. I'm taking it. Or
I mean, that's one of those things where it's like when we acquire these powers of stasis, are they actually going to be powers that are like, do we have to earn these powers from somewhere? Or is this going to be something that we can kind of just tap into that the Fallen are also tapping into that we're seeing there too, you know? And they're making use of that stuff.
Yeah. Like, I just want to take more Fallen shit. You know,
I'm down. Like
the Glimmer Drill is not enough, but that's in a Vex location, so we're still seeing some crossover. This is Fallen location.
This looks like that big city kind of built in that we were looking at. There's like one of the dudes, the robot bullies.
This is Ed 209 from RoboCop. You have 10 seconds to comply.
But yeah, this looks like we're going to be kind of descending in there, either whether it be a strike, whether it be a story mission. Dark Empire, House of Darkness. That's kind of what I was thinking too. They're probably just interchanging.
What if?
Their,
hold up though. What if though? We're talking about Fallen who are giving themselves to the darkness with Aramis. We're seeing Vex working in darkness structures. Soul Divisive is like that. I know, Dan, they don't have enough moss, but you know, the Vex are time travelers, so fuck it. What if this is a conglomerate of bad guys like the fucking League of Evil or whatever, working together for the first time? What if the reason why we didn't see that thing that kind of looked like a drag fight the thing that looked like a harpy is that they're working together?
They're allied. Yeah, that would be interesting. I wonder what their common goal would like. What do the Fallen get? What do the Vex get? Also, why would you ever? How do you communicate with the Vex, and why would you even want to work with them? Like evil is always like I don't necessarily believe in just like a big bad for the sake of being big bad. There's you know in anything there's always a reason.
I think
so. What would the reason?
It's kind of like a reverse taking, I guess, like where Oryx forced people to work for him. Yeah, it's a giving. Well, literally, it's like they're receiving powers and orders from the darkness. In exchange for getting this power from the darkness, you do its bidding, like a warlock patron or something. Yeah,
I mean that could be interesting. These are all interesting thoughts. It's going to be fun to once we've kind of completed the season and the content to see how I'm sure we're all completely way off base with what it's actually going to be.
This backpack does not. This backpack and gear kind of looks a little different. Like we still have a Ballista hood. I'm wondering if we're seeing some.
That's what I'm saying. Like the backpacks, I feel like is going to be a thing that we're going to do. Maybe we can make little encampments. Maybe we can make bonfires. Maybe it's Destiny Dark Souls.
All right, we're seeing sliding and grenade firing.
Like it.
Some new speeders, and then this guy boy from Cade's last mission, or no, not Cade's. There's like an adventure on IO that you get to drive one of these. But Cade's
they're all
on
the arcology as well. That babushka, I'm dead. I need that thing.
Look at how many Vex are just in the area. That's like so many. Okay, this
reminds me of that scene we need to talk about. So we got some tetrahedrons. We got a Vex portal in the back. We got frames over there.
This one looks like it has Vanguard colors, but this one I can't tell.
I can't really tell honestly at all.
We have like a Vex portal, like we would see to like we saw in the season, like the Sundial event where the Undying Mind came out of. There's
like a friggin' little Rasputin box, a couple of them in the back hanging out there too.
I wonder if these are like oracles, like similar to Vex oracles, but like dark.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm excited for the potential for just more mechanics in activities and stuff. I'm really excited for that.
All right, you see darkness grenade. Okay, nope. First frame of the new enemy that we can get a good shot. This guy, this little dude. Oh, backpack.
Little Vex with legs. Little Vex with legs.
This is like someone split open the top half of a minotaur. And turned it over, and then it shat out the tendrils from the what is it, the first boss of Garden.
Yeah, I'm excited for like just
we also
any
get a better
time.
Look at we get a look at this over here, so we can kind of get a better look at what those Rasputin box type things are. We got a dark one and a light one.
Yeah,
this kind of looks either dungeony or raidy. Like, this is a mechanic. This is probably this is something that's going to give people some problems.
This is like the Forge type thing, where this is like the public activity that we're going to be doing, kind of like the Court of Variks type of deal. Maybe with like little bits of mechanics and stuff like that. There's a big open expanse there. Yep, there is the box with a little light thing above it.
This map is huge.
This is interesting looking. I'm very, very, very excited. We see some Exo Stranger
with a shard of the darkness. Stuff. This is what Aramis had. This is like, you kind of see that what I was talking about, the two semicircles. This mini boss motherfucker. He's got sort of like a different array of weapons every time we cut to him. Like now he looks kind of like the Scorpion boss from the beginning of Final Fantasy VII. His faceplate has been ripped off.
Yeah, there's some stuff on there. Interesting to call out though, like the Vex and Fallen thing. He kind of, the more that you look at it, the more he kind of looks almost like if a Fallen made a Vex tech. Like if they created a Vex, the same kind of feet and stuff, but who knows? That the whole thing with the Harpies is like, look at that.
This is
look at that guy.
Dive kick.
Yeah, he literally just did a spiral arrow. Now let's go back to that last frame there.
He has he's got a gun here, which kind of looks like a Minotaur gun.
Harpy's got a gun. Maybe they can evolve. Maybe they can transform. I see the 6 eyes as well in the middle there.
Dan called out that those diamonds look like the diamonds we tether to get divinity.
They very much do. They very much
Black Garden.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else? So yeah, definitely. This is definitely 100% darkness architecture.
Yep, this looked like the ship when we went inside. We got some sweet key. We've got the crazy Fallen stuff. We got Vex tech. Like, this is over Radiolarian Lake. This is a big ass portal. This is not those little ones. This is a Gate Lord's Eye-esque portal, maybe even bigger.
So important to know. Like, yes, that you're 100% correct, but around it there's Fallen tech. Around it there's also these Deepstone Crypt servers.
Yeah, this is going to be the more that we see, the more I'm thinking this is going to be an expansion based on a lot of different shit. So, my excitement is at its peak. That stuff just looks freaking awesome.
I'm shaking.
I'm excited,
and I want it when it was supposed to release.
I know, this is finally some stuff that we've been really waiting for. So, I'm really excited. Very excited,
man. All right, so let's put a bow on our predictions. Mine were Dark Empire is Aramis and Vex and Darkness working together. The Exos were created by using Vex tech to simulate people. What are my other predictions? I went on a fucking crazy rant earlier and I've forgotten what I've said already.
Mine was just basically that I think the Vex are just going to see what the Exotech is in order to perhaps take control of an Exo of much import and maybe send them backwards in time to influence events of the present.
Oh, and Rasputin in a frame.
Yeah, we need more Rasputin in a frame. I'm also super angry that wasn't even a cutscene at all. Why not? Why wouldn't that be a thing?
You know what I'm not angry about?
What are you not angry about?
This website.
Europa awaits.
So this dropped alongside the cutscene there.
Look at that loot cave right there.
It is a cave, but I don't see any loot. You can kind of see Callus's face in here.
Inside there, yeah. That's definitely what it is.
What lies beneath the ice? Dark obelisk silently beckons you, watching from a barren clearing on the frozen moon. Those who came before you did not leave this place gracefully. The ruins of a once bustling cityscape tell tale of ambition and loss. And somewhere beneath centuries of ice, lost golden age technology awaits your steady grasp. Seek the truth wherever it lies. First of all, my hands are shaking. I'm so excited. So it's not that steady. This is the trailer. Yes, I am shooketh. Trailer. Now, here's a big important thing: is the map. It shows us all of the areas we're going to get, and it's kind of huge. So we'll go through every area, starting from the top. Eventide Ruins. Once home to thousands of settlers, now the remains of a Clovis Bray colony. What happens if we click plus? Oh, we get this screenshot.
Full screenshot.
Very Mars. Why am I forgetting the name of the city?
Buried City.
Yeah, Very Mars, Buried City, like you said. Kind of also reminds me of the layout of the Tangled Shore a little bit. But excited to just look how big this space is.
Very, very big.
It's huge. Over here and directly south is Cadmus Ridge. I'm gonna sneeze. Give me a second.
You yelled at me for sneezing earlier. Cadmus Ridge looks like that big chasm, that kind of thing that we're going across. Snowy landscape, last known location of the Vex facility. Let's go over to Asterion.
Hold on. We gotta look at the. Where are these spikes? Are they falling?
Yeah, they're just like spikes.
Are they weather spikes?
I think they're just there for texture.
All right, let's go to Asterion Abyss. Vex structures visible on the surface are only the tip of the iceberg. So like you were saying, like Vex structures require like rock and physical material. Europa is frozen, so that means that they have to go down to the core of the planet and then push them up.
And build on it. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Nothing too revealing here.
No.
But Pyramidion. So I think that was what we saw in that first frame.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Then Charon's Crossing, the site of Europa's communication center, and the origin of a distress signal by the Variks.
All those circles that are there too. That's going to be more stuff. There's going to be more nodes that we're going to be able to click on and get into. Very exciting.
The map says that we are getting a distress signal from Variks, which is why people are like, "Oh, is he on our side or is he not?" And we've seen this. I think that this is sort of where, like close to where the Drifter sets up that camp with Eris and the Stranger. Moving on to Beyond. This is what is like the name of this area.
It's just Beyond.
Like it's not really
so freaking
like it's
big.
not meat or something like.
It's beyond ice. That's where the pyramid looks like.
Friend awaits us in the clearing that overlooks. Right. Is it Variks? Is it the Stranger? We'll have to find out. But we get to see the pyramid, sort of like purple Tatooine sun. That fucking song plays. I want to get down in these like crevices and like see what's going on, and I think that we'll get to do that like just from the basis of this map. But you're right; these circles are indicative of something. What?
Someone just clip that.
Yeah, me doing shitty trumpets.
Yep.
Shitty Star Wars.
And no one that, and someone get down in these crevices. But look at there, we got the deluxe edition, selling the collectors, all that other good stuff. I pre-ordered months ago because I'm an absolute shill.
Ooh, this reminds me I have to change my delivery address for my lunchbox that I ordered.
Yeah. yes. Change it up. Still cool lunchbox.
The Stranger edition, if you want to buy Elsie Brady, the Exo Stranger. That's like...
It's a pretty sweet cloak. Pretty sweet cloak.
Awesome. So that's that. And then I have the TWAB to read. And that's it.
Right.
Go through the TWAB. The TWAB.
Let's actually...
What?
You can go ahead and do the TWAB. That's fine.
Okay. This week at Bungie. The weather is changing. You feel that? A slight chill in the air. It's time to prepare for a colder climate, Guardians. Europa has no sympathy for unprepared guests. You might want to come with a weapon or two, because frigid storms aren't the only danger to be found here. No, don't be afraid, though. An old friend will be waiting for your arrival. So they dropped the Europa trailer again on the TWAB, and then 100% chance of snow. You now have less than 7 weeks to get ready. Don't get caught out in the cold without a plan. November 10th is coming quick, and we're eager to see how long you survive. It's a pass for games. Earlier this week, Forsaken and Shadowkeep became available on Xbox Game Pass. With Beyond Light on the way, there's no better time than to gear up and get acquainted with what's going on in the world of Destiny. Heads up, guys. Just quick word to the wise from your boys Will and Perk. If you have Discord Nitro, you get 3 months free Game Pass. Just saying, you could just play Destiny for free. If you're looking for a clan, come join the Caffeinds. Use !Discord and chat. And you get both Forsaken and Shadowkeep, both of which we have spoiled immensely in this podcast, but also they're great fun, and we would love for you to join us. So just a few housekeeping notes for Guardians who are being freshly rezzed in the Cosmodrome. You'll need to download Destiny 2, Forsaken, and Shadowkeep to access the content. Without Destiny 2, you can't launch the game. For new Guardians joining our ranks through Xbox Game Pass, we have a help article. There are forums. If you encounter issues, go to Xbox support. Great. Eyes up. Welcome to the community. There's an Iron Banana coming. Iron Banner's coming back between September 22nd.
Same guns.
It starts September 29th and ends on 10/6. That's a long... Oh, wait, no, that's a week long. That's fine.
It's a week. It's the same guns. There's no other guns.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad.
I'm just voicing. I love Iron Banner. It's like my favorite from D1 start. I want more guns. I want more weapons.
Perfect time to reissue some old ones.
Anything, literally anything. Like,
give us quadruple rewards or something.
Yep.
Say fuck it, everything drops at 1060 now.
Sure.
With Beyond Light on Fast Approach, it's time to shift our TWAB gears a little. Today we'll be talking through some of the back-end changes that will be coming to Destiny 2 on November 10th. To guide us through this process, we're passing the mic to Destiny Engineering Director David Aldridge. From Daldridge. When Destiny 2 launched 3 years ago, we had no idea that in 2020 we'd announce a new trilogy of expansions, among other 2020 surprises we didn't anticipate. At the time, we thought Destiny 2's arc would look a lot more like Destiny 1, a couple expansions, and then a sequel. We learned many lessons from the transition to Destiny 2, and from shipping Curse of Osiris, Warmind, Forsaken, the Year 2 Seasons, and Shadowkeep. When we evaluated those lessons, we decided not to pursue Destiny 3, but instead reinvest everything in Destiny 2 and make it all that it can be. Check out our longer write-up on this choice here. So, to support that strategy, we've made several tech investments to help us sustainably evolve the game for years to come. Some of those investments are arriving in Beyond Light. Many of these changes are under the hood and won't affect your experience, except insofar as they help us deliver you more and better Destiny in the future. But some may result in neat improvements, curious behavior differences, or bugs. This means that on November 10th, some places and things will feel a little like sliders. Only 90s kids will get this. So we'd like to give you a rundown of some of the changes and possible side effects. We've shifted our mission scripting model to run on the physics host instead of the mission host. More details on the split here in the interview with Matt Segur. In the long run, this change will give designers options to create more novel mission mechanics by giving the mission and scripting environment full access to the game state instead of the much more limited access to that the mission host had. For example, the physics host knows exactly where enemy combatants are and what actions they've recently performed, while the mission host only knew how many combatants were alive in a squad and what that squad was generally trying to accomplish. In Beyond Light, we're only launching the foundations of the system, and we look forward to evolving and leveraging it in the future. What you might notice: the new scripting environment changed many behaviors in complex ways, and you may see interesting behavior changes or bugs in pre-Beyond Light missions and public events and similar. These were originally built and tested on the previous system. We've tested these missions heavily and stamped out many bugs, but some will undoubtedly slip through. We'll be monitoring and fixing the remaining bugs over time. In some cases, these issues were more severe. For example, they caused the Prophecy Dungeon to be unavailable temporarily. There it is. We're all excited for its triumphant return, slated for the end of this year.
Yeah.
One other cool new feature in this area is face-to-face joins in social spaces. So now you can fire team up with tower friends without a long tower reload. That's great.
Oh,
huge.
dude, between that, I'm also like going nuts over the fact that you can actually like they're going to give the mission designers more freedom instead of just being forced into the thing. That's the thing that we've been complaining about for like ever. So having access to that is going to be awesome. So continue. I'm stoked about that.
We want the reactions. So we revamped our content building and patching pipeline for speed and install size. With the tremendous size of Destiny, our complete shippable content builds were frequently taking north of 24 hours. We made investments to bring that down to sub 12 hours, which resulted in a bunch of changes to our content and patching formats. We also took on work to allow us to cull content that we've upgraded or replaced. Our previous patching system had limited capabilities here due to trying to minimize patch sizes and other constraints. And the current Destiny 2 install has a significant amount of accreted dead content, e.g. assets in the base install that were replaced in later patches. Which you may notice. Due to all these changes, Beyond Light will be a full re-download on all platforms. We know that this is painful for those with slower or metered internet connections, and we're sorry about that. To help mitigate this, we're planning to enable Beyond Light preload sometimes at the evening of November 9th Pacific time, which should give everyone at least 10 hours to download before the gates open. Mark your calendars, boys.
Oof.
Destiny 2's... Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping for a little bit of an earlier launch than that, but it sounds like they're actually doing a lot on the back end with the files. So, and I'm sure they don't want people to data mine anything and kind of spoil it too early of the launch. So it makes sense. It makes sense. For those out there, I'm hoping that you'll all be able to download it. So I know a few of our clanmates sometimes have an issue with getting all that downloaded. So
Godspeed,
it's gonna be friends. A thing. Yep. Always that if you're taking time off to play the content, don't take the Tuesday. You always take the Wednesday, the Thursday, Friday.
Always
preload, and never just take that Tuesday. The Tuesday is always crazy.
All right. So, in addition to that,
word of the one.
Destiny 2's install size shrinks 30 to 40% due to a combination of calling unused or replaced content, install size optimizations, and moving some content to the vault. Destiny 2's install size will shrink to between 59 and 71 gigabytes depending on the platform, and a reduction of 30 to 40%. This makes you wonder which platform is getting the smaller one.
I don't know.
These improvements should also help us to control install size better in the years to come. We hope to use these much faster builds to accomplish two things. One, help us ship mission-critical fixes faster when game-breaking bugs arise. Thank you. Two, reduce our overall ship pipeline depth, enabling us to work on Destiny releases closer to their ship dates, so we can react to fresher information about what's happening in the live game. For example, historically, each of our seasons had to get deep into production before the preceding season launched, preventing us from reacting to learning things from that preceding season. These tech improvements should give us 1 to 2 more weeks of flexibility on a seasonal scale, helping us pivot more quickly in some cases. That's huge, actually. That's kind of a major thing, because we had 2 seasons of just garbage public events, maybe even 3 seasons.
Yeah. Who remembers? Who wants to go back to doing Seraph Towers? Not me.
I didn't hate it.
I hated it. It sucked.
What was the worst one though?
All of it.
No, like if you had to rank the public events, is it Sundial? Is it Seraph Towers? Is it clearing out the Seraph bunkers? Is it the Undying Mind activity?
The Undying Mind was actually decently fun. It felt like a path in a unique area. That one's the best one, I think.
Also, Menagerie gets on that list because they were all attempts.
Menagerie is the best one. Menagerie is easily the best. Sundial sucked. Seraph Towers sucked. Seraph Towers sucked the worst. Seraph Towers at the bottom. Sundial above that.
And also Contact Public Event.
And then Contact Public Event, I didn't mind. I was just mindlessly smashing through. It felt a little bit cathartic. I didn't really mind that one too much at all. I would say Contact is the best one. And under Menagerie. But yeah.
Interesting. All right, back to it.
Yep.
We rebuilt our character face system. We know that how your Guardian looks is important to you, and we've long wanted to add more player customization to Destiny. Our original system for player faces had some combinatoric content authoring problems. For example, every decal had to be authored completely custom for each player face permutation. This prevented us from extending this area of the game with more content and features. We've upgraded to a significantly more capable system with e.g. runtime decal projection, which we hope to leverage for more player customization options in the future. As a part of this process, we reviewed the existing player models with our diversity committee and employee resource groups in the studio to make small tweaks to existing player heads. We're also building a list of Guardian face shapes we should bring to the game in the future in order to increase Guardian diversity in Destiny, with the long-term goal of enabling everyone to imagine themselves as their Guardian. Or you might notice, your Guardian's face might look a little different. To quote our friend Destiny the meme, Guardian beards when?
I know, right? We need the Guardian beards.
Next, we relit portions of EDZ and Nessus. During the early stages of Beyond Light production, the Lighting and Skies team had a desire to provide a visual refresh for the 2 remaining D2 Year 1 destinations, EDZ and Nessus, as they enter their 4th year in rotation. Just, reader's note, when you put it in perspective, like 2 remaining locations, that's kind of like not a lot of things. I'm just like processing that. Anyway, to that end, the teams performed relights and global lighting updates to a number of locations on both destinations. What you might notice, different lighting on existing destinations. The changes are intentional and meant to bring visual quality of these spaces up to our current lighting standards while providing a fresh coat of paint for our Year 1 locations. We hope you enjoy these updates to some familiar locations when you explore the EDZ and Nessus this November. We're excited to leverage these improvements to redouble our efforts to Destiny 2, and we aim to remake Destiny 2 still feel like you're home away from home. Thank you. P.S. Congratulations on making it to the end of this long and nerdy love letter. We did it. If you're passionate for all things Destiny Tech is not spent, there's an AMA that they did a couple months ago. Followed by emblems for a fashion show. Ooh, look at this movie of the week emblem.
I want it. I want that one. It looks awesome.
The Bungie bounty is kind of like Guardian Games. Kind of want that.
Yeah, they all look great.
Is this... There's a Mentors and Ninjas emblem. What is this? It's like a volunteer. So yeah, if you want to volunteer, you get these emblems. That's cool. Let's see if there's anything else here. Patch notes, movie of the week. I think that's it, Perk.
Alrighty. Sounds good. I spilled coffee all over my desk.
I was like, damn, dude, am I boring you? What the fuck?
Nope. I spilled coffee literally everywhere. Literally half the whole thing of coffee. So yeah, that's good. Everything's fine. I want that emblem. I want to get that. I want to get that movie of the week one.
Well, let's do it. It looks like you gotta go. So I just saw your private messages from like 10 minutes ago, so I'm sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
So we'll make this fast, and I can close out the show, I guess, on my own. Perk, any last thoughts?
No, but I'm actually excited for the first time. I was cautiously optimistic about it, literally through all of the stuff that we've seen, and I can actually say for the first time that I am legitimately excited. So, sounds good.
Awesome.
That's really it. That's my thing. Is I'm finally excited for Destiny. I was cautious. I wanted to be excited. I'm a little bit sold now.
And you're a little bit soggy from the coffee.
A little bit soggy. I'll absorb it though. How do you feel? I know you're excited, but you've said you're excited every time. So what's different about this excitement?
It just looks good.
All that's
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know how else to put my excitement in any other words than like what I did. But I'm gonna like wrap it up here. I'll throw it to Ray in a second. I'll do our last plugs. I know you gotta go. Thank you for being here, Perk. You follow him at PerkFGC.
Always. Okay. It's Will. Take it away. Everybody else chat. Tweet me if he says anything weird. I want to know.
Damn. All right. Called out. I'm muting Perk now. Hi. It's just you and me, your host, WillProduces, and not that other guy that is our clan dad and is still in the call. So guys, as usual, we wrap this up by sort of plugging all of our socials. We are the Caffeinds. We're a group of Destiny players that has been playing since the alpha. Not me personally, but our core group has. I'm more of a recent join, but as someone who's joined the group recently, definitely have to say that I have not played with a finer group of people than the Caffeinds. So to that end, if you'd like to join us, our clan of Destiny players, go ahead and hit !Discord in the chat channel. If you are not watching this live, go ahead and go to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/caffeines. There's a Discord button right there so you can join us. This channel also goes directly to YouTube and Spotify the day after the show is over. So go ahead and follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on Spotify. If you are an Amazon Prime user, guess what? If you connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you have a Prime Gaming sub that you can use on any Twitch channel once a month to support that channel. That channel will then get money that if you use on our channel, we put directly back into the stream. You may notice that we have a bunch of fun new emotes that finally got accepted by Twitch. To get access to that, all you gotta do is sub. We're in the middle of September. Subs are cheap, gifted subs are not. There's 30% off. So go ahead and sub to this channel today. Get your sus emotes for every time Perk plays or I play. Get your I'm gonna throw up emote from Peter. Get your dude Jared emote. Get your oh bother emote for Lucas's Monday streams. Coming up on this channel, don't forget, Saturday, someone's gonna be filling in for me. I've got a work gig, so it'll be either Lucas or Moose filling in, doing some Crucible. Next Monday, Lucas, as always, playing comp. Next Tuesday is the reset with Perk. That Wednesday is Space Moose. We are transitioning our eyes to the post-produced space, so keep an eye out on our YouTube for our first offline shows. And that was a long spiel, but we've come to the end, friends.